Many people think a little ham sandwich or a slice of bacon in the morning can't do much harm, especially if it's something they've enjoyed all their lives. And for a long time, that might have been true. But as the years add up, your body becomes more sensitive to the quiet stress these foods place on the heart and the kidneys. It's not about blame, and it's certainly not about guilt. It's about recognizing that what once gave you comfort may now be quietly draining your strength. George, a 72-year-old retiree from Ohio, told me how he used to feel exhausted every afternoon, no matter how much he rested. At first, he thought it was simply age catching up with him. But when his doctor suggested cutting back on deli meats, those quick turkey slices and ham rolls he loved so much, he noticed a change within a few weeks. His energy lifted, his blood pressure readings became steadier, and he realized it wasn't his body failing him, it was just his body asking for gentler choices. That's something worth reflecting on. How often do we mistake our body's signals for just getting older when really they are invitations to care in a new way? If you've ever felt unusually swollen in your fingers or ankles, or noticed yourself becoming thirstier after a salty meal, these might not be random annoyances. They are little whispers from your body reminding you that sodium and preservatives are harder to handle now. So what can you do? You don't have to throw everything away or swear off taste. Start small. Swap a breakfast of bacon for a warm bowl of oatmeal topped with berries and a sprinkle of nuts. Replace that deli sandwich with a simple grilled chicken wrap or even a lentil soup that nourishes without straining. Notice how you feel after those meals. Is your energy steadier? Do you sleep a little better? These are the kinds of gentle experiments that can tell you more than any textbook. Remember, this isn't about stripping joy from your plate. It's about finding new joys, ones that leave you feeling lighter, calmer, and more in tune with your body's real needs. And just like George discovered, the change doesn't have to take years. It can begin with the next meal. If this resonates with you and you want to keep exploring these kinds of small, life-giving adjustments, make sure you subscribe. That way, you'll always have a steady stream of reminders to guide you gently toward a healthier, more peaceful rhythm of life. It's easy to think that a glass of soda here and there, or even a brightly labeled fruit juice is just a little treat, nothing to worry about. After all, you've probably enjoyed them for decades without much thought. But the truth is, the way your body responds to sugar in your 60s or 70s is not the same as it did when you were 30. Your pancreas, the small but mighty organ that helps regulate blood sugar, doesn't produce insulin with the same efficiency it once did. That means every sip of soda or sweetened tea can create sharper spikes and drops in your energy. Those moments of sudden fatigue after lunch or that restless sleep that doesn't refresh you the next morning may not simply be age. They may be your body telling you that too much sugar is quietly unsettling your balance. I remember speaking with Margaret, 68, who loved her afternoon glass of orange juice. She believed it was healthy, a good source of vitamins. But she noticed she would often feel jittery, then tired right after drinking it. Once she tried swapping that juice for a glass of water with lemon slices, she was surprised at how much calmer her afternoons became. She didn't feel deprived, she felt relieved, as if her body had been waiting for her to notice. That's an important lesson for all of us. Sometimes the healthy choices we've trusted for years need to be reevaluated in light of the body we live in now, not the one we lived in decades ago. So what can you do, gently and without pressure? Start by noticing how you feel after sweet drinks. Do you feel thirsty again within an hour? Does your mood rise quickly and then sink? Simply paying attention is the first step. If you recognize those patterns, consider simple swaps. Keep a pitcher of water infused with cucumber or berries in your fridge. Try herbal teas that soothe digestion and nerves. If you crave sweetness, dilute juice with water until your taste adjusts. The goal is not to deny yourself, but to create habits that leave you feeling steady, clear, and supported. Think of it this way. Every time you choose water over soda, you're choosing not just hydration, but clarity for your mind, comfort for your heart, and steadiness for your energy. Those little choices add up, not with force, but with quiet persistence. And when you begin to feel that difference, you'll know it's not about restriction. It's about listening to your body's new language and responding with kindness. If this kind of gentle wisdom feels helpful, make sure you subscribe. That way, each week you'll be reminded of simple, compassionate ways to care for yourself, so you never feel alone on this path of adjustment and renewal. It might surprise you how something as comforting as a plate of fries or a warm donut can affect you differently now than it once did. These foods are not just a source of quick pleasure, they are also heavy with oils that become harder for your body to process as the years go by. When you were younger, your metabolism could handle these surges of fat and calories with little obvious consequence. But with time, digestion slows, arteries stiffen, and the body's ability to clear out excess fats weakens. This is why what once felt like a harmless treat may now leave you feeling sluggish, bloated, or restless at night. It's not about blame, it's about understanding that your body has changed its relationship with food, and it's asking you to listen. Think of it like this. Every fried meal is a small weight placed upon your system, and with age, each weight feels heavier. But there is no need to give up joy or comfort. What helps is to lighten that load, step by step, in ways that feel possible. You might begin by simply cutting the portion in half. Instead of a full basket of fries, enjoy a small handful and notice how your body feels afterward. Or perhaps you try baking or air frying the same foods. The texture remains satisfying, but the burden on your heart and digestion is far less. Another gentle adjustment is to balance fried foods with something fresh. Adding a small side salad or a slice of crisp cucumber not only aids digestion, but reminds you that your plate can still hold variety and delight without heaviness. These are not punishments, they are gifts to your body, small signals that you care for the vessel that carries you through these years. Ask yourself quietly, do I often feel more tired after a fried meal? Does my body feel heavier, slower, or less at ease? These are not criticisms, only observations. An invitation to notice patterns that perhaps you've dismissed as just aging. Sometimes what feels like decline is really the body's way of saying, please help me with a little less weight. Imagine what it would feel like to rise from the table without that familiar heaviness, to walk after a meal with ease instead of fatigue. That is the reward of listening to these signals. And it doesn't take grand sacrifice, only small choices repeated with kindness. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but gentleness with yourself. You are not giving something up. You are opening space for energy, comfort, and lightness to return. One meal at a time, one small shift at a time, your body will thank you, not with words, but with steadier breath, calmer sleep, and a little more strength for the things you love. Salt has always been a faithful companion in the kitchen, hasn't it? A pinch here, a sprinkle there. It brings food to life, awakens flavors, and reminds us of meals shared with loved ones. But with time, something subtle happens. The same salt that once felt harmless begins to weigh more heavily on the body. Blood vessels that were once flexible become less forgiving, and kidneys that once filtered with ease now work harder to manage the excess. That's why foods like canned soups, instant noodles, and salty snacks can quietly become burdens, even if you've never been someone who adds much salt from the shaker. One of the biggest myths I often hear is this: if I don't add salt myself, then I'm safe. But the truth is, most of the sodium we consume is hidden, already packed into processed foods long before they reach our tables. A single bowl of instant noodles can hold more salt than your body needs for an entire day. The taste is comforting, yes, but the invisible load it places on your heart and blood pressure can be far from gentle. That doesn't mean flavor must be sacrificed. Far from it. Think of herbs like basil, rosemary, or dill, not just as seasonings, but as allies. Garlic, lemon, ginger, and even a touch of black pepper can awaken a dish in ways salt never could. These flavors don't just replace salt, they bring freshness, lightness, and a sense of care that your body will thank you for. So how can you begin without feeling deprived? A good first step is to start noticing labels. When you see a number higher than 400 milligrams of sodium per serving, pause for a moment.
Ask yourself, is there a gentler choice I could make here? Another gentle shift is to prepare even simple meals at home. A pot of homemade soup with fresh vegetables and beans can offer warmth without the silent burden of excess sodium. The journey isn't about removing joy, it's about replacing what drains you with what nourishes you. You might be surprised by how much more alive your taste buds feel when they're not dulled by too much salt. Sometimes the richest pleasures are found in simplicity. As you sit with this thought, ask yourself softly, do I feel swollen after meals or wake up with stiff fingers in the morning? Do I sometimes dismiss these signals as just age without considering they may be whispers from my body asking for less sodium? These questions are not meant to judge, only to guide you into noticing. Each small change you make is not an act of discipline, but of kindness. You're not taking away from yourself, you're offering your body a gentler path, one that allows your heart, your breath, and your energy to move with more freedom. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this shift is realizing that your meals can still be vibrant, joyful, and full of taste, just seasoned with the wisdom of years, not the excess of salt. Growing older teaches us something that youth often ignores. It's not always the big, dramatic choices that shape our health, but the quiet, daily habits that build up over time. Food is no different. The very things we once trusted as simple or even wholesome can slowly chip away at our strength if we don't pause to re-examine them. That's the delicate truth about aging. Not that life is narrowing, but that life is asking us to live with more awareness. Small changes in what we eat are not punishments. They are acts of self-respect, gifts we give to the body that has carried us through so much. I've spoken with many people who thought that the stiffness in their joints, the extra weight around their middle, or the fatigue after meals was simply a part of getting older. But so often these struggles ease when hidden culprits in the diet, sugary drinks, processed meats, fried foods, and too much salt are replaced with gentler choices. Think of Evelyn, 70, who believed her aching knees were just age. She didn't know that her love of canned soups and salty crackers was quietly raising her blood pressure and increasing inflammation.
When she began seasoning her meals with herbs and cooking simple vegetable soups, not only did her blood pressure improve, but she also found her joints felt less swollen. She told me it felt like a fog lifting, as though her body had been waiting for her to listen. That is the wisdom hidden in these choices. Aging is not decline, it is refinement, the art of aligning your habits with the body you live in now. Every gentle adjustment you make, swapping soda for water, choosing baked fish over bacon, or seasoning with lemon instead of salt, isn't just about adding years to your life. It's about adding ease to those years, comfort to your mornings, and energy to your afternoons. Ask yourself softly, which of the foods we've talked about surprised you most? Which one feels hardest to let go of? And which change feels possible, even if it's just a tiny step? These questions are not tests, they are doorways into greater self-awareness. Remember, no shift is too small. Even the smallest choice, repeated over time, becomes a path toward healing. So if you've ever thought, it's too late for me, let this be your reminder. It is never too late to lighten the load on your body. Never too late to offer yourself care. Never too late to choose gentleness over habit. If these reflections have spoken to you, I invite you to subscribe and stay connected. Together we can continue walking this path of wisdom, discovering ways to nurture not just the body, but also the spirit. And now I would truly love to hear from you. Which of these foods surprised you the most, and what small change do you feel ready to try? Share your thoughts below. Your story may be the encouragement someone else needs today.